I woke up and got pretty pumped up because I read online that they started having THC-infused cows start being raised in Indiana, which I think is pretty cool. You might ask the same question I did. How could you do that? How is that legal? It's not. So it's safe to say the stakes are high. We're back, baby. Alright, before anything else, as you can probably tell, the quality has gone up. We finally got the camera. I just want to thank everybody for the support. It's helped me get through the last 3 weeks a lot easier. We are so back, and that's we spelled WWE because we're about to smack down on some obscure cards that the community, drumroll please, failed to find. I know, it's an amazing name. What can I say? These are 10 obscure commander cards that'll probably inspire you to throw them into a deck or possibly build a deck around them. All these cards come in at under 10k decks on EDH Rec. That's what justifies a card being underplayed on this channel. So if you want to submit your own cards, make sure they're under 10k. And if you want to know where to submit them, it's over on the Discord. You can check that out down in the description. So there you go. Straight out of the gate, we got Free Strider Lookout from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. This rare is coming in at $118. Ran in 3,257. Yeah, 57 decks. This thing is 2 and a green for a 3/3 with reach. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. Oh, a lot of stuff commits crimes, and if I'm getting land for committing a crime, even if it's once a turn, I swear that every new set that passes by, I get more and more embarrassed that anyone's going to hear me say some of these names, but this card would be really good in the new Miss Bumbleflower deck. I swear I don't play My Little Pony. Because every time we play a spell, our target opponent draws a card, which counts as committing a crime. So then we get to dig and get a land. And that's every time we cast a spell. That's not that hard to do once every opponent's turn, and that's 3 lands per rotation plus our turn. Feldegriff. All of its abilities commit crimes. Just a crime syndicate girl boss hippo that we all need in our life. She's out there just getting that bag for her little hippos any way she can, dude. I think this card's really good. I like it a lot. The next one was submitted over on the Discord by Big Dog. He recommended we take a look at Titania's Song. Titania's Song is a rare from Antiquities that costs 95 cents, and it's ran in 2,856 decks. It costs 3 and a green for an enchantment. Each non-creature artifact loses all abilities and becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness each equal to its mana value. If Titania's Song leaves the battlefield, this effect continues until the end of turn. Oh, I don't know. Do you have any, like, if only there was, like, some kind of non-creature token artifact that people just loved using now. I don't know. I'll have to come back to that one. I'm not sure. Not really a particular commander suggestion with this one, although I'm sure some of you guys will come up with some good ones. This is like a player suggestion. If you're a Timmy player that doesn't really play the enchantments and the artifacts, maybe throw one of these in your deck so you can just run all your big Timmy creatures and then run Titania's Song for all the other opponents' annoying little trinkets and doodads they're running, because me no care about those. Me do trample. Even if you do run mana rocks, those are just now creatures, which if you're in the Timmy deck that's running like Crater Hoofs or like Board Presence Go Wide cards, good. We have more creatures now. I actually really like the suggestion, Big Dog. I've never seen this. I like it. Up next we got Loot, the Key to Everything, which, you know, has me very disappointed in you guys, because we're all about the cute stuff. But my boy Loot's out here. We'll get into it. He's a mythic rare from Outlaws of Thunder Junction for $1.16. He's ran in 1,228 decks. You really let Loot down, guys. Cost a green, a blue, and a red, and if you put that out in magic terms, it spells grr, so that's kind of cute. Loot is a 1/2 legendary creature, Beast Noble, with Ward 1. Overpowered. Overpowered. I don't have to hear anymore. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of card types among other non-land permanents you control, and you may play those cards this turn. Just pretty good pseudo card draw. I run this in my Rashmi and Ragavan list because, yeah, that entire list is just about playing stuff out of exile, and I get to play from other people's decks. So there's potential that there'll be a Super Friends deck, so I can get a Planeswalker, an enchantment deck, an artifact deck. I can play a creature. There's 4 different card types. I get to exile 4 off top with Loot. It works pretty good in there. Stuff like Wild Magic Sorcerer, all the stuff we cast from exile has Cascade. If we're getting 3 to 4 cards off Loot, all those have Cascade. I totally get it though. He's underran because he costs blue, red, green. But it's kind of tough. Even if you're in the Tamir deck, that's one of each of your colors. That'll probably clunk up some stuff. It'll clunk up some plays if you're running a lot of counter spells that cost like double blue and stuff like that. So I understand him not being played in like 7, 8, 9, 10s, you know what I mean? Somewhat high power decks. But I like him a lot. I think my Rashmi's kind of sitting at a 6, so I think he works fine in there. I like him a lot. If you're looking for a card draw engine in one of those decks, this one's pretty good. It normally gets me 3 to 4 cards, and it protects itself with Ward. The next card is Synthetic Destiny. Synthetic Destiny is a rare from Commander 2015 that cost 18 cents. It's ran in 5,510 decks. Its mana cost is 4 and 2 blue, and it is an instant that exiles all creatures you control. At the beginning of the next end step, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal that many creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. Now, I'm gonna need you to dang near hear me out on this one. What if we ran like a Kaikar list with like Warstorm Surge and like Impact Tremor non-creature permanents, so Kaikar still gives us tokens, and then those tokens will trigger our Impact Tremors and our Warstorm Surges. We can Synthetic Destiny, all of our bird tokens go away, we're hitting all these creatures that make new tokens that are replacing bird tokens, we're flooding the board again with stuff. And at instant speed, I think that's actually significantly strong. If you have enough tokens, you're like, hey, I have 7 tokens. End of that person's turn, Synthetic. I'm gonna go ahead and hit 7 guaranteed creatures, and sorry about ya. That seems pretty good, especially when you're making sure your creatures are like bigger creatures that enter and make tokens, and then you're relying on non-creature early game stuff like Impact Tremors to make tokens off Kaikar, so you don't lose early. I don't know. I like this card. I think it's great. There's probably, obviously, plenty of other decks this could go in, but that's the first one that popped into my head. Either way, Synthetic Destiny is very cool. I like it a lot. This next one has my vote for the funnest one on this list. Land's Edge is a rare from Legends that cost $1.15. It's ran in 616 decks somehow. It's 1 and 2 red for a world enchantment. You can discard a card. If the discarded card was a land, deal 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. Any player may activate this. Anyone can discard a card, and it doesn't have to be a land. So this is just a discard outlet for the whole board. So you might make friends with the Reanimator guy. At the same time, you might make friends with the Landfall guy. Probably going to run it in like a group slug deck like Xancha, and be like, hey, anyone at the table that wants to just discard a land to deal 2, you can do it from this point on. Seismic Assault, get that out of the way. This is Seismic Apepa, because we're spicing it up a bit. Yeah, put it in Perforos, where all your stuff's like low CMC anyway, so you don't need lands mid-late game, so you just start discarding all your lands you draw to deal 2 more damage. I think this one's just underran, because you guys are weird about letting opponents do anything. I swear I'll read a card, and if it has anything to do with, like, the opponent gets to, you're like, nope. Land's Edge is pretty good. Don't you want to edge your land? Don't you want your land to be edging? Yeah, you're clearly not working with Artemis, so, yeah. Our yards aren't the same. Land's Edge, I really like this one a ton. I might be picking up a couple because they're just fun. I might just stick this in decks, honestly. I like it that much. Up next is a common from Modern Horizons 3, which is a bit weird. Thraben Charm is 9 cents. It's in 2,035 decks. Cost 1 and a white for an instant, and you can choose one, which already, great stuff. Thraben Charm deals damage equal to twice the number of creatures you control to target creature. Good removal in a go-wide deck. Destroy target enchantment, just good removal. Or exile any number of target players' graveyards. Excuse me? Yeah, any number. The 2 graveyard decks, see ya. Oh, I don't need to do that? The enchantment that's really annoying? Bye. Oh, I don't need to do that? Snipe the creature over there. See ya later. Just good removal in every sense. It covers a lot of different bases. It only costs 2 mana, one of it being colorless and then a white. Really easy to play. Instant speed. Pick it up. It's great. Cabal Paladin is pretty good. It's a common from Dominaria. It costs 6 cents, ran in 2,197 decks. Its mana cost is 3 and a black for a 4/2. Whenever you cast a historic spell, Cabal Paladin deals 2 damage to each opponent. Yeah, historics are legendaries, which, you know, like pinging each opponent for 2 when you cast your commander or any other legendary. Not bad. It's also artifacts, so pinging everyone for 2 every time you play an artifact is like, that's really good. It's also sagas. Yeah, whatever. If you're in the right deck, that could maybe be relevant. This seems awesome in Glissa the Trader, because every time an opponent's creature dies, we get an artifact back from our graveyard. And if it's a sack artifact like a bauble of any kind, you can just keep cycling that through, draining all the opponents. Not to even mention if you throw like a Basilisk collar on this thing, give it lifelink, you're gaining 6 life in a 4-player game every time you play an artifact or a legendary. I think the 4 mana cost may be why this is underplayed, and maybe people think that the whole having to play an artifact or a legendary is too many hoops to jump through, but with the amount of mana rocks I run, plus your commander triggering it, I think this does have slots in different decks. I'm sure there's some Esper artifact list where you can do some like hole breaker shenanigan loops with this and just take everyone out. I know I'm ordering a couple because I want to try him out. He seems awesome. I don't know though. Up next is Tangle Walker. Know what I'm saying? I've been watching a ton of Trailer Park Boys. It might be the funniest show you can watch, by the way, if you haven't watched it. Tangle Walker is really good. It's an uncommon from Darksteel. It costs 18 cents. It's in 143 decks. It costs 2 and a green for a 2/2. Each creature you control can't be blocked as long as the opponent controls an artifact land. I don't think there's much specifics like commander-wise for this card, but I do think there's some cool cards and interactions with this thing. Liquimetal Coating can turn lands into artifacts, so you can make your entire board unblockable with this card and Liquimetal Coating, which isn't bad every turn. Plus with the OG Mirrodin artifact lands, the Modern Horizon 2 lands, Treasure Vault, there's a bunch of other weird ones. I think like Blinkmoth Nexus is an artifact land. I think there's plenty in the game that 1 or 2 opponents will have an artifact land in play. Also, being in green, you can run stuff like, what's its name? Mirror Land Shaper to like turn people's lands directly into artifacts. Another way to make your whole board unblockable over and over and over. We've got another Discord submission from Redco, who recommends Fade Away. Corner 3. Corner 3. Fade Away is a common from Exodus that costs 28 cents. It's ran in 3,568 decks. Costs 2 and a blue for a sorcery. For each creature, its controller sacrifices a permanent unless they pay 1. That's really good. So if this guy over here has 6 creatures, yeah, you're going to have to sack a permanent or pay a mana 6 times. You're either using or losing that land. I mean, most of the time. Like the token deck. No, even the token deck. They have even more of these triggers to do for each token. You either lose all your tokens, you lose lands. Yeah, you have to do it too, but it's a sorcery. You're going to play it on the best time when the most people have used the most mana. Even if they have 3 mana open, they get to stop 3 triggers of this from happening. That's not even that good. Or they start sacking lands, sacking other stuff, letting their things die. Not to even mention if you're in like an Aristocrats build, where like you can just let some of your stuff die. Like if you're in like an Esper Aristocrats deck, you're like, yeah, my stuff dies. Triggers, death triggers. Your stuff all dies. Triggers, death triggers. And then I'll use the rest of my mana from my Ashnod's altar that I'm sacking to pay the rest of my 1s. This is gross, and I really like it, Redco. Great suggestion. And finally, to end off this video, we've got Hecatome. Hecatome is a rare from Ice Age. It costs 45 cents. It's ran in 603 decks, which is crazy low because I think this thing's pretty solid. It's 1 and 2 black for an enchantment. When Hecatome enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice 4 creatures. You can tap and untap swamp you control. Hecatome deals 1 damage to any target. So every swamp you have is a ping to something, which is really strong. You have 4 untapped swamps at the end of someone's turn, ping someone for 4. All your excess swamps just turn into pings. And if you're in a mono black aristocrat deck, sacking 4 creatures, that's absolutely fine with us. Plus, you get this ability in enchantment form, which is like easily the hardest thing to get rid of, unless you're running Thraben Charm, because that thing's pretty good. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. If you want to support the channel and just throw us $1 every month over on Patreon, it's down in the description. That would help a ton to get us some more high-quality content. Possibly dip our toes into some other stuff. We have some big stuff coming now that we've got the camera, so get ready for that. I hope you enjoyed this format, the video. Hopefully the audio is okay. I'm using the audio on the camera, so it might sound a little bit more, not as bassy, but it might sound a little bit more personable, I hope. So, with that, drop a like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We're still trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. I still think we can easily do that. Yeah. Much love, nerds. Go play your little card game. I don't know what that was. See ya. Bye-bye. Huge shout out to our patrons that you can now see on the screen. If you want to become one of these patrons, it starts as low as $1, and it helps out the channel a ton. Helps me get out more high-quality content to you guys. So if you would consider that, that'd be amazing.